Hi, Algebra 1 students. Welcome back after spring break. I hope you had a restful 2 weeks and you were able to stay happy and healthy. I wanted to jump in with you guys and explain what is expected of you specifically this week, because this week, if you look at our Schoology page, you're going to notice that it looks a little different than it has while we've been doing this digital learning phase. So just like normal, you'll click on your distance learning. Just to not confuse you, I put all of our old stuff in this pre-spring break materials folder. So if you have any missing or late assignments, that is where all of those assignments will be. This week is the week of April 20th through 24th. So in our Schoology folder, and you're not going to see all of this because I can see my block 4 and my block 7, but you're obviously just in one of those classes. So if you are missing some of these assignments, don't worry, you're just in one block and not both. So this week, as you are probably aware of, we do have 2 live class meetings. So typically the schedule would be, if I see you on Monday, then I would also see you on Thursday. And if I see you on Tuesday, then I would also see you on Friday. And Wednesday is a office hours day. But our first week back is actually a little different because the seniors were supposed to be presenting their capstone projects on Friday. We have actually moved all of our classes on Monday through Thursday. So as you see here, if you are in my block 4, I'm going to be meeting with you on April, on April 21st at 8 a.m. And I'm also going to be meeting with you on April 23rd at 8 a.m. If you're in my block 7, I'm going to be meeting with you on April 21st at 11 a.m. and then again on April 23rd at 11 a.m. So we're not skipping classes on Wednesday. We don't have office hours all day long on this Wednesday. So I wanted you to be aware of that scheduling info. That is for all of your modern day classes this week. Most importantly, I wanted to let you guys know what we are actually doing during our meetings this week. So I took a lot of your feedback. A lot of you were saying you would appreciate if I would do more of the notes during the Zoom meetings, and that way you can ask questions as we're going. So what I have for us this week, we are still going to be working on Chapter 9, but we are reviewing and then we're going to be testing Chapter 9. So if you see on April 21st, our first meeting back after spring break, we're going to be doing some Chapter 9 notes together. These notes look identical to your test, which also looks identical to your practice test for Chapter 9. I just want to make sure we all have the opportunity to go through some problems together. So we will do these problems, and look, it even has the answers on the bottom for us. We will do these problems together during our Zoom meeting on April 21st. If you would like to print this out ahead of time, that is perfect. If not, you'll just do it on a separate sheet of paper. We're going to walk through those notes, like I said, step by step. But if you do read the instructions here, it says you are expected to take notes during our Zoom meeting and submit a picture of them to this Dropbox for credit. I just want to make sure that you are actually following along with me. So this kind of takes place of those notes that you were taking during my videos before spring break. So hopefully that makes sense. That is your assignment for during our Zoom meeting on April 21st. Now, like I said, you're actually going to be taking a test for me covering Chapter 9, and I do not want you to worry. Like I said, the test is identical to that notes page that I just showed you, and that notes page we're going to do together during our Zoom meeting on April 21st. You're also going to get this Chapter 9 practice test. So just like normal, you're getting a practice test for Chapter 9. It's going to look identical to your Chapter 9 test. All I'm doing is changing the numbers. And as you even see, it looks identical to those notes we're doing together in class. And I'm giving you the answer key, so you know if you're doing it correctly. So this practice test, that's going to take place of your Pearson Realized assignments that you have been doing, or like those worksheets that you've been doing. So you don't have a Pearson Realize, you don't have any other homework for me besides finish those notes that we take in class and then submit those notes. And then also I want you to really focus on this practice test and make sure you can do all of these problems and then check to make sure you can do them all accurately. Once you finish that, you're going to submit it to this Dropbox again, take a picture and submit it to this Dropbox. And that is due Wednesday, April 22nd at midnight. I don't want you doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would like you to do it while you are still competent and your brain is not fried from the day. So to let you know, if you have any questions while you're working on this practice test, there will be office hours with me every day from noon to 2:30, but it's by appointment only. So I'm not going to be sitting on a Zoom meeting for 2.5 hours with nobody there. So if you would like to receive help on this Chapter 9 test or just anything in general, I'm going to ask that you write me an email. So I wrote a example email for you here. So I want you to email me, ctaylor@moderndaycatholic.org. If you can make the if you can make it have a title that lets me know what you're talking about, that would be helpful, just because there are some days I get a ton of emails. So if I know you're trying to meet with me that day, then I know to prioritize that email over other emails that may be asking me to meet on a different day. So if you can tell me in the title, like, hey, I'm looking for help on this day at this time, that will help me know priority-wise what emails I need to get to first. So if you just write, I need your help on this problem on the practice test, can we meet for office hours at this time? That way I'll be able to get back to you. Also, put your parents on there. Okay, put your parent in the CC line. That way I can get back to you as soon as possible. But that's what I would want you to do to schedule a meeting with me for tutoring as we're going forward. Okay, so let's say you're all studied up, you're good to go, you completely understand Chapter 9 and you're ready to take our Chapter 9 test. On our Zoom meetings on April 23rd, so if you're Block 4, it's going to be at 8 a.m. If you're Block 7, it's going to be at 11 a.m. During those Zoom meetings, you are going to be taking the Chapter 9 test for quadratics. So I do want to let you know, you need to come to that Zoom meeting prepared, because I do not want to take away everyone's time on the test to answer questions. So if you have questions for me, you either need to ask them during the Zoom on April 21st, or you need to schedule office hours with me any day from noon to 2:30 this week. And if those times don't work for you and you want to ask me for a different time, I will try to be flexible, but I cannot promise times like 11 p.m. Okay, so for your Chapter 9 test on quadratics, you will be taking a Chapter 9 test during our Zoom meeting on April 23rd. I will post the test here. Obviously, I'm not going to give you the questions beforehand, and you will need to submit a picture of your work to this Dropbox before you leave our Zoom call. So on April 23rd, I will attach to this Dropbox file a file of the Chapter 9 test. Now, I get that none of you are going to want to take the time to print that out in case you have a slow print or anything. So you're just going to do this on a separate sheet of paper. You're going to do it neatly, and you're going to write out the problem, do your work neatly, circle your answer so I can see what your answer is. We are going to sit on that Zoom call, and I would like for everyone to have their actual video going so I can see you as you're testing. But we're going to be on that Zoom call. So it's a 45-minute Zoom call, so you'll have 45 minutes to look at the test. It has how many questions? Because it has the same amount of questions as these other things. So it has 16 questions. So you have 45 minutes. Some of the questions are easier than others, so they won't take as long as others. But you will be working on that test for those 45 minutes, and you're expected to submit it to Schoology before you log off that Zoom. So hopefully that makes sense. You typically get a note card during a test, so if you would like to make yourself a note card, you are welcome to. I won't have a way of collecting it per se, but if you were using a note card, I would just ask that you take a picture of it and submit it to this same Dropbox, so that way I can just see what was on your note card. While you're taking that test, you're expected not to consult outside resources. So you should not be Googling problems. You should not be math-weighing problems. You should not be pictomathing problems. You should just be doing the problems to the best of your ability. You will need to show work for every single step so you can get points, because it needs to be obvious to me that you did the work. So that is what we are doing this first week back from spring break. I know it's a little nerve-wracking, right, because we're coming back and jumping into a test, but I do think based off your work as we've been going through this distance learning, that it actually seems like a lot of you are really understanding what we learned, and I want to give you the opportunity to raise your grades by doing well on this test, because I do believe that a vast majority of you are going to do very well on this test. So that is why I have chosen to still test you on this material. Once we're done with this stuff, like next week when I see you, we are actually jumping into statistics. So maybe or maybe not, that's something for you to look forward to. But this is our last algebra unit. We're going to do a little bit of statistics, and then believe it or not, it's already time to start thinking about the final exam and reviewing for that. So hopefully this video answers any questions that you have. If you're still confused about anything, please feel free to email me. Please reach out to me and schedule office hours if you are struggling with anything. And I miss you guys. I hope you had a nice spring break, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on our Zoom calls this week. Bye.